Hey.
Good evening, beautiful humans. Welcome to the San Jose Poetry Slam. I am Scorpiana Xlent, and I will be your MC for the evening. For any of you here tonight that have never attended a poetry slam before, don't know what a poetry slam is, basically, poetry slam is like a cross between a drinking game and an Olympic sport, except it's better than the Olympics because you don't see anybody's crotch sweat. Yay, poetry slam. Um, Basically, this is performance poetry. Poets are going to get up on stage. They are going to spit a poem. And then we have judges in the audience who are going to judge and score those poems. The rules are really, really simple. It's one poem per round. Poets must use their own original work. There's a 3-minute time limit with a 10-second grace period. If poets go over 3 minutes and 10 seconds, they will earn what is called a time penalty. And that can't talk straight. Points will be deducted from their score. Musical accompaniment and props are not allowed. Now, if you've been to Poetry Slam before, you might be wondering, I thought one of the rules was also no costumes. At San Jose Poetry Slam, we actually have a lot of very eclectic dressers in the San Jose community. And sometimes we are mistaken for being in costume when we're not. So we decided to toss the costume rule in the garbage because how do you know how somebody dresses in their daily life? You really don't. So you may actually wear costumes. Poets will come up, spit their poem. Judges are then going to score the piece anywhere from a 1 to 10, utilizing decimal points, just like in the Olympics. Judges, when you're using your decimal point, only put one number behind the decimal point. So if you do 7.9333, the scorekeeper is only going to count that as a 7.9. We have 5 judges. After we record the judges' scores, we're going to take the lowest score and the highest score, and we're going to toss those in the garbage, roll the middle 3 together to give us the poet score for the round. I'm going to also teach y'all a San Jose tradition. If when the scorekeeper gives us the poet score and they tell us that the poet got a time penalty, I'm going to ask y'all, how do we feel about a time penalty? And then go 1, 2, 3. And then we are all going to go, fuck the time penalty. Because we have to have rules, but we don't like rules. So this is how we pretend we're really badass and protest the rules. Now, I know different communities do it different. You're in San Jose tonight, so fuck the time penalty. I don't want to hear fuck linear time or any of the other shit y'all may be doing in like whatever other city y'all slamming. When I come visit your city, I'll learn the way you do it. But tonight, fuck the time penalty because we are in San Jose, which, by the way, want to give a quick shout out. San Jose is the name we currently call this. We are actually coming to you tonight from stolen Ohlone land. So really important to acknowledge who the land belongs to. So then the poet's going to get their score, and the 5 poets with the highest score are going to get to spit another poem in round 2. So judges, thank you so much for volunteering to judge tonight. Can everybody give it up real quick for the judges? We cannot have a slam without judges. So Judges, we are going to ask you tonight to remain consistent and true. Score each poet by the same set of criteria. You want to base half your score on the poem itself. Did it move you? Did you like the imagery? Did you like the wordplay? Was there a line that really just like made you want to either start writing poetry or quit writing poetry? And then base the second half of your score on performance of said poem. So if you hear the most amazing poem you've heard in your whole entire life, but the poet read it like this, you're not going to give that poet a 10 because obviously the performance wasn't there. So you want to take both things into consideration. Judges, we also ask, don't time the poets. Sometimes there's a temptation. Don't worry about whether or not the poet went over, even if like you're kind of looking at your clock and you're like, wait a minute, that was a 5-minute poem. Don't penalize them for that. The scorekeeper gets to do that. Don't judge poets on personal appearance, gender, race, hair color, age, weight, anything, just contents of poem and performance of poem. And judges especially, do not be swayed by the audience. Do not let them, if they boo you when you scored somebody low, stay consistent with your scoring. Fuck what the audience thinks. Don't let the audience sway you. Audience, you only have one motherfucking job tonight. Sway the goddamn judges. Let the judges know how you feel. Now, since we are not in person in a bar, we are on Zoom. We are going to ask that when a poet comes to the virtual stage, that you mute yourself because, we don't want to interfere with the poet's performance. But when I first call the poet to the stage, go ahead and unmute yourself to cheer for the poet and then mute yourself. When the poet's done with their poem, unmute yourself again to cheer for the poet. Cheer or boo the judges' scores. What we are going to ask too, we have this wonderful chat here, that we could type stuff in. When the poet's finished and I come back and I say, judges, I need your scores, or judges, scores. I'm going to have the judges, you're going to type your score into the chat. I'm going to ask everybody, once I ask the judges, not to type anything into the chat until I read off the scores, because sometimes people start, chatting, complimenting the poem, and then the judges' scores get separated, and it makes it really hard for me to go back and forth and read it off. It also makes it confusing for the scorekeeper, and we want the scorekeeper to stay like efficient and true. So but otherwise, cheer and boo the judges. Try and sway the judges. What we do ask, though, do not threaten the judges. Because even though via Zoom means, a disgruntled poet cannot follow you to your car after, folks, we can't do this without the judges. So it's okay to boo a score you don't like. Don't threaten them. On that note, too, no bribing the judges. Ignore that Mr. Xlent takes Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. That money is going to go to me anyway. But yeah, don't bribe the judges. So the poets tonight are going to go in this order. We've got The Prodigy Truth, Roz, Frogcore, Safwan, Mark Anthony Vigo, Nico Kim, Lita, Christopher T. George, and Daryl Perry. So, are we ready to begin the slam? You can wave your little hands in the air.
Yeah.
We can snap, clap, do whatever. Let's see. I feel like I am forgetting something. Oh, reminder. Since you're all at home and, if you want, you could like turn your video off, have your little privacy screen up. I don't know what you're doing at home when the poets are spitting, but what I can tell you is despite the amazing technology we have nowadays, the one thing we cannot do tonight is rewind a poet's poem. And before anyone gets really smart ass and says, but aren't you recording tonight? I do hair for a living. Like I am basically computer illiterate enough to go on social media, and that's about it. So I can't and won't rewind shit for anybody. So if you do not pay attention, you're going to miss some amazing ass poetry. So that being said, we are about to kick it off, but before we can, blood must be spilled on the stage. Because the judges, some of our judges have not ever judged a slam before. Even our experienced judges, they're starting over tonight. And I'm telling you right now, our first poet of the evening does not want to be the person the judges practice scoring on. Our first poet of the evening wants y'all proficient. So we are going to bring a poet up who is going to spit a poem. They are officially not a part of tonight's competition. They cannot win. They cannot get any prize money. They get nothing but the chance to spit the poem. They are going to come up and sacrifice for you so that the judges can practice scoring. Are we losing a judge? Did we?
No, we're good.
Oh, okay, we're good. So, folks, put your hands together for our sacrificial poet. Give it up for Scorpiana Xlent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For adopted children, fingers are lost languages extending toward translations of dead memories. I mean, how do you commune with ancestors when their names are foreign to your mythology and you need a roadmap to learn a history that should have been birthright? How do you learn mother tongue when lips are frozen in lyrics you memorized when you thought they were your soundtrack? Do we find home phonetically, wait for vowels to feel like first cousins, and syntax becomes spoken in reunion? For now, I will learn to vibrate in silence. Hope that the ghost of my foremothers can recognize lost children in the pause between heartbeats and still welcome me home. Thank you. Give it up for Scorpiana. Woo!
Woo!
Okay, judges, let's see some scores. We got 2 scores, 3, 4. Waiting on one more. We got 5 scores. We've got a low of a 7.5. We've got a 7.6, a 7.9, an 8, and an 8.6. Give it up for the judges. Good job, y'all. We're nice and quick, right on the money. Awesome. So poets, before we go ahead and begin, do remember you are being timed and the scorekeeper is going to start timing you at first utterance. So don't introduce your poem. Don't tell people why you wrote it. You don't need to introduce yourself. I will be introducing you. The one thing you can do that they won't start timing you for, because we know this is the internet, and when it comes to tech, there will be technical difficulties. When I call you up to the stage, if you just want to be like, hey, can you hear me? Or is my sound okay? That's totally fine. They're not going to start timing you for that. But if you start saying anything else, the scorekeeper's gonna start timing you. So Scorpiana's got a total score of 23.5. Clap for the poet, not the score. So poets, if I say you're on deck, that means you're not going now. You're going after the person I'm calling up now. So you have time to get in your little head zone. So on deck, we have Roz, but coming to the stage, give it up for the Prodigy Truck.
Okay. Hey.
Woo!
Woo, woo, woo.
Good evening, loves. My name is Dr. Tony Lydia, the Prodigy Truth. And I would like to welcome you to Therapy in Motion one-on-one. You are in for an exciting day this week. Before we go over the lesson plans, I would like to ask you to place your insecurities, your burdens, and your uncertainties against the wall. You shall not be needing them now. I know some of you have to get back to your 725 jobs. I know some of you have to get back to your failing relationships. I know some of you haven't finished your campus projects with your aspirations written in blood, but don't worry. Today, I will only be keeping you for a total of 3 minutes. So are you ready? Are you ready? Then let's talk. Let's talk about how fucked up your family is for not accepting who you are. Let's talk about how the person sitting right next to you smells like an expired Parmesan milk fart. Let's talk about the media, how they can only account for like 2 Black people that have received their due justice over the last decade. Let's talk about justice and how it's used as a temporary solution to the actual problem: racism, sexism, and sociopathic leaders. Let's talk about dating. Let's talk about how he stood you up 5 times. Let's talk about orgasms and how collectively bad men are at giving them. I mean, come on. Your stamina can't be that bad, Brad. Let's talk about the shit you don't want to talk about. Let's talk about how you fear for your life every time you see a police officer. Let's talk about love, about hate, how you still hate the food here, how life wasn't bred enough for you. The taste of someone else's grinded bones is one you hope your children won't remember. Do as I say, and let's talk about hate. Let's talk about depression, about rape, and how the drugs have stopped helping. Let's talk about how no one seems to be helping. They tell you to get over it. It's just a phase. Stop being such a downer, as if getting rid of your heart would cure your heart disease. You tell them no. Let's talk about no. No, I'm not okay. No, you can't touch me. No, I'm not crazy. Know what it's like to feel human again. Let's talk about you. You deserve to be beautiful, even on days when the sun sets the table for those you don't want to talk to. I'm just happy I could be your guest today, so thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give it up for the Prodigy
Yeah,
Truth.
nice. Good. Good stuff.
Judges, we got 1, 2, 3. We got some nice fast judges tonight.
All right.
I like fast people. Waiting on one more.
Let's hear it for the judges.
We got 5 scores. We got a low of a 7.9. We got a 7.9, an 8.4, an 8.4, and a 9. So tonight's event would not be possible without our parent organization, Poetry Center San Jose. I will be posting some info on how you could hear more about all the various events we put on. And we have got for the Prodigy Truth a total score of 24.7. Clap for the poet, not the score.
Hey. Yeah. All right. Great.
On deck, we've got Frog Corpse, but coming to the stage, give it up for
Okay, all right. Yeah. Go for it.
Speaking is the art of forcing this tangled but witty tongue to say something coherent. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the effort is just not worth putting in. Tired of explaining to minds that minds elevating. Next time, I promise to feel good about being honest to God. I'm trying to win. Promise me you won't leave without so much as a wave goodbye, but if you leave, you didn't try hard enough, and I'm worth it, so screw you. How I wish they made sense most times, but my thoughts are just old puzzle pieces collecting dust in a box, waiting patiently to be a part of a bigger picture. To be appreciated and valued for the work of art that it is. In a perfect world, everywhere I go, I'm being understood. And complexity is much more than just an aching taboo or synonym to unmarriable. If I said I didn't want to be understood, I'd be lying. Next to you is the quietest my mind has ever been. All the brain thunder finds peace, and though it still roars violently, I am free to breathe. I think about letting you into my mind, unparalleled darkness and blinding shine all at the same time, but I'm scared it would ruin. Everything happens for a reason. If this is true, why is this happening? Me and you, vulnerability is choosing between being completely exposed, in danger, but free. This thirst in me to be on both sides of the fence. I have walls, but at least they're not decorated with barbed wire. Maybe a bit of poison ivy, climb over if you desire, prove it to me, leave, but stay. To love feels like handing a fully loaded firearm to someone with trembling fingers. Those same fingers that are intertwined as we walk down the street together. Who says I don't trust? Heart beating fast and mind racing faster, I ask myself, if body language is a thing, how many of my secrets and fears have I shared with you without uttering a single word? When will I get it through my head that softness does not mean weakness? I want you to look at me, but not too deep. And I wish I could say that I'm sorry, but I'm not. And when asked why someone hasn't made me their wife, I often reply that there's no one that catches my eye, but the truth is, one too many times, they have left with pieces of me between their teeth, and the taste of me is a distant memory on their tongue. That I no longer remember the taste of feeling. Holy shit, I give myself a headache. No one wins the war when it's me versus me. End poem.
Give it up for Ron.
All right.
Judges.
Good.
We got 2, 3 scores, 4. Just waiting on one. We got 5 scores. We got a low of a 7. We've got an 8, an 8.1, an 8.5, and an 8.9. So we're going to toss all those together. And I am typing into the chat the website for poetrycenter.org or Poetry Center San Jose is pcsj.org. They're also on Facebook, Poetry Center San Jose. I suggest y'all check it out later. We put on like a variety of, in addition to the poetry slam, we've got a variety of open mics. We have poetry readings. We have writing workshops. Like there's always things going on. And right now, all our events are still all taking place via Zoom. And The majority of our events are totally free. So you can catch poetry all month long. So we've got a time penalty. Oh, folks, what do we think about time penalties? 1, 2, 3. Fuck the penalty. What's our score after that time penalty? We've got a 23.6. Clap for the poet, not the score. On deck, we have Safwan, but coming to the stage, give it up for Franco.
What up? Let's get it. Summer takes this ground like every hope I've ever known, and everything's been said as all the feelings had before. Cliche the poet's notes, wasted words on these pages, mundane written sentences, and same things rearranged in the blocking of your mind is scribbled in typefaces, and it couldn't display more deeper than your poetry is just complaining. So have you ever searched for words or caught a glimpse of intelligence that was guided by your heart? Because your pen is written in selfishness. Can you tell a story without reoccurring themes? Your poetry is just a diary of your unattainable dreams. So can we talk about expression, a vague meaning that forms our art, but it's a pointless point to point out that there's no point in changing who we are. So here we are again, and we're reading out this shit. And if your writing's not that great, then just put down the fucking pen. So close the book and look away and go find another thing. Because the writer's right is the right's the right. The passages that sting, delivering the haymaker. Thank you.
All right.
Give it up for Franco.
Okay. All right.
Judges, throw those scores up there. Edward, you have to give a new score because that score got thrown up there before the poet was done.
Sorry about that.
It's not countable. We got 4 scores, waiting on that 5th. We've got a low of an 8. We've got an 8.1, an 8.7, another 8.7, and an 8.8. And nobody like fractured any bones for that, unlike the Olympics. Yay! So we're gonna smash all that together, and what do we got? We've got a total of 25.5. Clap for the poet, not the score.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so on deck, we've got Mark Anthony Vigo, but coming to the stage, give it up.
Am I clear enough?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm addicted to you. 24 have been given. I spent 20 for you. You are the first thing I hold when I'm untied from the chain of my dreams. You are the last thing I stare when I'm ready for the unknown fantasies. To be honest, I don't realize how you suck my time when you yourself is my clock. I'm not aware the amount of nicotine that you hide in your wires and chips and lights and feeds. I'm not prepared for the ocean of vision and the prison of male position. Now I'm drowning. I'm drowning and trapped in a prison of procrastination and repetition. How dare you? How dare you betray me when you supposed to levitate me, defying the gravity of the ancients? You supposed to be my nose written letter to my south hidden friends. You supposed to be my east operating cellar to my west operating bias. You supposed to be my moving encyclopedia feeding through all living media. How supposed you to betray me? But no. You seduce the people of modern era to rely on you, beg for you, raise for you, and be played by you. You spend Sahara for the lost ones. Let them travel miles in nothingness. Let their brain paralyzed in the state of emptiness. You really want to elevate your existence by celebrating the absence of interaction. You desperately sabotage the road to connection by creating a map of separation. You are an addiction. Thank you.
Give it up for someone.
Woo!
Hey, all right.
Judges. We got 2 judges. We got 3. And judges are doing a great job tonight. We got 5 scores. We've got a low of a 7.8. We've got another 7.8. We've got a 8.1, a 8.4, and a 8.6. So if you want to know when the next poetry slam is going to be taking place, we are the second Sunday of every month. I know for sure we're going to be on Zoom for September. October, not sure. We were initially supposed to go to our in-person venue in October with, everything going on, like, with the new COVID variants. I have no idea whether we're going to be on Zoom or whether we're going to be on person. I am going to be trying to convince the board to let me kind of do both when we go back in person. But if you want to keep up with what we're doing and whether we're going to be on Zoom or live or doing special events, all you have to do is follow us on either Facebook or Instagram. And we've got a total score for Safwan of 24.3. Clap for the poet, not the score.
Okay.
On deck, we've got Nico Kim, but coming to the stage, give it up for Mark Anthony Vigo.
All right. What's slam? To me, that means going in hard. Words exploding off your tongue, igniting the crowd like an incendiary device. From a mere spark to a roaring flame, painting with your voice, a verbal epic, concentrated and compressed into the realm of 3 minutes or less, grabbing the crowd by the throat the minute you open your mouth and never letting go until your last breath. That's slam. Painting a picture so eloquently detailed, verbally rendered in shades of every imaginable color, emotions gently blended or mixed haphazardly like debris swirling in a tornado, hurled at us with the velocity to knock us the fuck out. That's slam. Bringing the pain, making some noise, a shout out to be heard around the world, your voice straining, veins in your neck bulging, mind exploding just so that you can be heard. Escaping the monotony of your so-called life into a world of your own creation, a mental fortress built of your words, carefully stacked, mortared in place, building blocks of your intellect bonded together with your emotions to create your impenetrable silhouette. For even you can eclipse the sun, even if only for a moment, as you rip open your chest like ripe fruit, bearing your heart, allowing your soul to be all it can be. That's slam. When your words flow, spewing pure emotion, released like a torrential flood, we become washed away in your pain as well, feeling the wounds inflicted as they are described. We flinch as your words pierce our eardrums. When we hear your voice and your words, they connect with our experiences, even the experiences we have yet to experience. Your words reaching out to us, touching us in ways that no one else has, or in ways that maybe no one else ever will. To me, that's slam. Thank you.
Woo!
Give it up for Mark Anthony Vigo.
All right. Yeah.
You guys do not make this easy.
Judges. We got 3 judges scores. Waiting on 2. We got 4. And we got 5 scores. We've got a low of an 8.3. We've got an 8.5, an 8.6, an 8.8, and another 8.8. So we're going to smash all those together. And what do we got? We've got a total of 25.9. Clap for the poet, not the score.
Okay.
On deck, we have Lita, but coming to the stage, give it.
All right.
I come off crass and brash like I need a class of crash course in social etiquette, for delicate minds tend to fold once I start sharing mine. Thus, I'm inclined to share that, though I come off with an air of vulgarity like I'm angry, stupid, or pissy, if you read between the lines, you'll find that I'm more close to an angsty hippie. And I've seen that everything inside of a melting pot becomes less of an amalgamation of piles when there's something that stirs that pot every once in a while. Thus, I'll smile and defy all the social graces that end up making a conversation interactional buck. Because the way I see it is life is already too damn short, so we can discuss about my dick if the preference was small talk. Speaking of which, I would say, don't judge me until you walk the mile in my shoes. However, I won't, because I already know your response is going to colloquially be, the shoe doesn't fit, therefore the stride is incomplete. The point is, I've stayed out here trying to show motherfuckers how I've been walking. They just steady stuck on the stupid stereotype of what people say about small feet. Thank you, guys.
Give it up for Nico Kim.
Hey, Nico. Hey.
Judges. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 scores. We've got a low of an 8.2, an 8.4, an 8.4, an 8.6, and an 8.7. I'm going to smash those all together. I apologize for the next 3 poets coming to the stage. I'm not going to get quite as loud for you. It's not personal. Somebody just told me every time I get loud, my mic's been cutting out. So, you know, I want you all to be able to hear the poets' names. So I'm going to try to be a little less loud. It's really hard. I'm from the Bronx, so and we be some loud bitches. So I'm going to try to control my volume so we could hear everything. And we've got a total score for Nico of a 25.4. Clap for the poet, not the score.
Okay, Nico.
On deck, we have Christopher T. George, but coming to the mic, give it up for Lita. Woo!
Woo!
No, not all of us are poetry. Some of us are noise, dyslexia, stuttering of blasphemies in the underworld spiral, lost astronauts in the cosmic void. Not all of us are poetry. Some of us are moans, screams, guttural crying, feet without rest, intergalactic stone. Not all of us are a poem. We are misspelled orthography and black prose, hymns of 2 sharp edges, dismembering troglodytes in battle. We are 1,000 silhouettes of 1,000 monsters, tracing the landscape of the night, navigating the incessant mantra of machines, cracking the code.
Hey.
Give it up for Lita.
All right, Lita.
Judges. We got 3 judges so far. We got 4 and we got 5. So we've got a low of a 7.8. We've got a 8, an 8.3, an 8.4, and an 8.7. And we're going to smash all those together. And while we're waiting for that, I did pop in last month to our pre-COVID venue to have a drink last month. And thankfully, they made it through the pandemic because walking around downtown San Jose, we've just seen like there's so many places boarded up now that are not in business anymore. Like COVID just wiped out like so many small businesses. So we were really grateful that Caravan Lounge stayed open, not just because I didn't want to have to look for a new venue for us when we, went in person, but because they're like the nicest people that run that place and we just adore them. And we're just really grateful that, they managed to keep their business. So we've got a total score for Lita of a 24.7. Clap for the poet, not the score. And on deck, we've got Daryl Perry, but coming to the stage, give it up for Christopher T. George.
Woo, George, Christopher, woo.
This is called Everybody's. Everybody's married. Everybody's got a friend. Everybody's tied up. Some even like it. Everybody's got an unrelieved urge. Some unbelievable urge. Yes, even you. I can't believe everybody's thinking unbelievable, unrelievable things. And I'm just sitting here writing this poem. Done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Give it up for Christopher T. George. Judges. We got 3 judges, waiting on 2 more. Waiting on 1 more. Well, we got them all now. We got a low of a 7.7. We've got a 7.8, a 7.8, an 8.3, and an 8.6. And we're gonna smash them all together. And we're almost all the way through round 1. We've got a total score of a 23.9. Clap for the poet, not the score. On deck, our feature's gonna come up and do a teaser poem before the break, but coming to the stage, keep the energy going, and give it up for Daryl Perry.
Yeah. All right, Daryl.
This one is The Wisdom of Screaming. Frustration builds behind steering wheels with the pressure of airbags straining to expand. It boils and sizzles on sun-scorched dashboards, all because some jizz-swilling douche monkey can't figure out how to get into a fucking lane. However, amidst these impassioned, nonsensical curses that swirl through my head, I must question the wisdom of screaming. Strangers' cars follow us everywhere we go. Is it our individuality, sold by modern culture well below standard MSRP, that ejects everyone from our personal space and morphs their faces into reflections on windshields? Well, unless you count that arrogant cunt who is clearly steering with his elbows while using both hands to jam a gigantic goddamn cheeseburger down his throat while merging onto the highway. But still, amid the selfish vanity of blaring horns and dirty glances in rearview mirrors, I can't grasp the wisdom of screaming. Everyone likes to feel wrong. Screamers scream because they think perhaps the small-titted sorority bitch in front of them has somehow wronged them by playing with her cell phone and stopped traffic, while the non-screamers think maybe that the impatient ass fucker who honked at them has wronged them by screaming and waving his hands. And in their own minds, everyone is right. Amid this roaring stream of self-importance stocked with iron fish, I consider the possibility that the wisdom of screaming does not exist. Our ears take in screams like our lungs inhale exhaust fumes, giving no thought to their harmful implications. So instead of screaming, I laugh. I laugh at douche monkey and cheeseburger face and small tits and ass fucker and all of us with our ridiculous, impersonal, hateful attitudes. And amidst my darkened interior, as speed-smeared blurs buzz past me on the left, as ever, the wisdom of screaming dodges my reason as an orange tiger cat deftly crosses the expressway.
Give it up for Daryl Perry. Judges.
Okay.
And judges are about to get a nice little break. We have got a low score of an 8. We've got a 8.1, a 8.4, an 8.5, and a 8.6. So what's gonna happen? We've made it through all of round 1. We have heard all the poets. And we have got for Daryl a score of 25. Clap for the poet, not the score. So we're going to go to break in a minute. But before we go to break, after the break, we're going to hear our feature. And I want all of y'all to know what you're going to be coming back for. So all during the break, you're going to be all hyped up and excited. So I'm about to bring up our feature for a little teaser. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our feature. Generalissimo Bryan Franco is a poet, spoken word performer from Brunswick, Maine, and he's been writing since the 90s. He started writing in preschool, truth. Like when he was 2, that's when he started writing poetry, because he's only like 25 right now. He was a member of the Portland Maine Rhythmic Cypher slam team that competed in the 2014 National Poetry Slam in Oakland, California, and is also a painter, sculptor, gardener, and culinary genius. He is featured across the US and Scotland and has been published domestically and in Ireland and Australia. He hosts Café Generalissimo Open Mic and is a member of Beardo Bards of the Bardo. His poetry collection, Everything I Think Is All in My Mind, will be available in December. He also may be publishing a future anthology, basically called the Fuck Chat Book. So give it up, big hand for Generalissimo Bryan Franco.
Woo! All right. Okay.
Woo!
All right, Brian, go for it.
I wish to explain my background. I want you to know this is what a Tigger looks like when they turn 55. So I'm gonna do the poem I was gonna finish with. So this is called Lady Poetry. Poetry, it is no secret you are a woman. You are the goddess of midwifery. Each poem I give birth to births something inside my soul I never knew existed. Poetry births emotions, tears, laughter, anger, and confusion. Poetry births outrage, protest, justice, and humanity's ability to cure society's ills. Poetry births voices that did not know they were capable of eliciting everything poetry births. Poetry bursts words from minds that never knew they could communicate something visceral. Poetry bursts poets who read and hear poetry created by other poets, then find poetry inside their minds that will be read or heard by others who will create their own poetry, creating an infinite loop of other people creating poetry. Push! 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 One more! You can do it! Push! Congratulations. You've given birth to a poem. Thank you, everyone.
I love you, man.
Give it up for our feature. So we are going to go on a 10-minute break. How long?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So go ahead and use the restroom, get some food, get your favorite beverage, go outside and smoke a cigarette, smoke a joint, go pet your like cats, dogs, and hamsters. And I will see y'all back in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Thank God for that break. Every time I have to go through labor, I need at least 10 minutes to get over it. I don't know if anyone's had any babies out there, but I guess that's how long it takes to get over labor.
I haven't had any babies recently.
Man, I was gonna do another poem for my second one, but I'm gonna do another poem just because you did that poem. So like, Brian Franco, you're a freaking inspiration, man.
Well, you inspire me too, Nico. You have from the first time I heard you. I think the first time I heard you was at the New Year. That is such a lovely piece of art behind you, Ms. Bappy.
Oh, thank you so much. It's part of my Ambient Moon series. So
I'm trying to decide whether it's cells or jellyfish or just
they're
whatever.
Ambient Moon jellyfish. So, yeah. Yep. I have a whole series.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. I love jellyfish, and I think it's what they taught. They taught me a lesson that every person or every being in the correct context is gorgeous. So my goal in life is to help students find their context.
Yes, they're very pretty, but you don't want to stick your hand in a big tank of jellyfish.
Well, moon jellies don't actually sting. So
I wouldn't
that's
say so
nice.
either.
Yeah, so moon jellies are actually quite benign, so they're quite lovely.
Well, they sell jellyfish at some of the Asian grocery stores in these little foil packets.
Yeah, they taste like rubber bands.
Well, I was about to say they're very. I don't even know what to do with them. I mean, you basically there's no flavor.
No. What you do is you put a combination of sesame oil, soy or mirin, and then a little bit of sugar, and
you want noodles or rice with them? Or?
Yeah. No. You actually want to eat it with like a salad. You know, it's what you serve as an appetizer. Yeah.
Or maybe like some raw cabbage and carrots and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you can actually, I guess you could also serve it like on top of a poke bowl, but usually without rice. Usually jellyfish is more like a salad.
But do you eat jellyfish, Lacan?
Actually, I was going to say you can eat that as like an appetizer as well.
Yeah.
It's so good. I actually eat it with hoisin sometimes.
Do you really?
So, yeah.
I haven't had jellyfish for a year and a half, 2 years now, maybe since I haven't been home. I'm missing home. Lacan, I miss home.
Singapore is the food in Singapore is
Singapore.
Yeah, Brian, you would love being in Singapore. Singapore is a food mecca.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
It's
really interesting.
One day we'll all go to the Philippines, and we'll all go to Singapore, and we'll all eat everything everywhere. And what do we get? What are the egg things called again? I forgot.
What?
Oh, he's talking about the fermented duck eggs.
Oh, a
Oh,
balut.
Yes.
All right.
Balut. Yeah, balut. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna have some
Balut.
balut too.
Balut.
Delicacy. Oh,
you can make
Yes.
adobo.
Like a nice balut jellyfish salad sandwich.
That sounds very tasty.
Yeah, Lakan, I want to
Eddie?
go to the Philippines next summer. If the pandemic is done,
Then you're general.
I will go in the beginning of of my holidays.
But I don't think I'll be in the Philippines by then.
Yeah, I know you're thinking about going to London or New York, right?
oh really? You're escaping. All right. Okay.
I'll just have to see you stateside, Lakan. Or are you going to England? Have you decided?
No, I've not. I'm not sure yet. But
Dang.
let's see. But
Well,
definitely,
if you're in the Philippines, I'll come visit you. Okay, if you're there.
Well,
yeah.
that makes sense. I mean, you've got an international reputation, so go where your fame takes you.
Exactly.
True. I mean, as much as I love my country and this region, yeah, I'd go to the West.
Sure.
I want to go
Please, come to
visit
us.
the girls at the Butterfly Project. That's why I want to go. That's
Oh,
what I'm
actually-
going for.
Actually, Kemlin, I hope it's okay for everyone. I mean, it will be
Yeah.
great. You can tell everyone about that event.
So everyone, if you are available next Sunday night from 6 to 9 Pacific Standard Time, 9 to 12 EST. Manila would be 9 to 12 a.m. Monday. But we have Magic Mike, which is a review of poetry erotica delivered by 9 delicious male poets. Lakan's one
All
of
right.
them. And
Great.
what's so
And
great is,
Potastic too.
yeah, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Eddie, you're here.
All right,
I
Eddie.
forgot.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Eddie,
I've been.
All right.
yes,
sorry.
okay.
Just trying to rest
And
my
so
battery.
yes,
Do it.
the lineup is amazing. But what's so great is that one of the poets said to me, they said, we don't mind objectifying ourselves because we're doing it for our sisters. And as a survivor of sexual trauma and abuse,
That's great. Good.
I am so excited because our benefit is the Butterfly Project in the Philippines, which is why I want to go visit because I want to work with the girls.
Hey.
And they are girls that I rescued from sex trafficking. Girls, okay, young children,
Yes.
young
yeah.
children that need their lives back. And
Wow.
so that's my passion project. And so you know,
Wonderful.
so we're collecting donations. I mean, I've got people who are donating all over the world now. But you know, that night is a thank you and a great chance for just, you know, enjoying our community. I mean, my God, our poetry community is able to use our voices to advocate for social justice and help a cause. And I'm just floored
That's
by
great.
that.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. So anyway, so please buy a ticket. It's a free ticket to Eventbrite and come join us.
I
right.
hope it's a big success. That's
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
Oh, it's
And I
gonna
thi-
be a big success.
And it is already because you know what? Everybody that's
Yeah.
participating are really having a great time. And it's truly a blessing. I mean, my parents are coming. It's so funny. It's like, yes.
That's
So,
something. That's
yes.
good.
Yeah, my parents and my aunts and uncles, they are like all supportive. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know that it's an erotic night, right? And my mom says, I'm gonna get dressed up. My mommy is
Right.
gonna get all dressed up for the event, Lakan.
Oh, great. No pressure.
Yeah, so yeah, it's awesome. So anyway, I put my link tree up there and it has the links to the event. So please do come because it's going to be a delicious night. And I am stage managing, but I'm also doing a cameo for the Blue Mermaid. So I have a character that I play. Yes, she flirts with everybody.
All right.
Actually, great to also like hear if there the people here, if you have other events also. That'll be great to share.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have like at the end when I call people up, I'm gonna ask people to share their events and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna have them wait only because I don't want it to like influence the judges at all and stuff. But judges, if any of you have upcoming events you would like to talk about now, because y'all can influence yourself, that's fine. Go ahead and like share any upcoming events or things y'all have going on. No one.
So hi Scorpiana, I'm Kimlin. Nice to meet you. Sorry that I was sharing the exciting things that were coming up for you.
No, that's fine. You're not competing, so that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm a part of the Poetry Global Network with Lacan, and we're really proud that we're an organization of 18 right now, and we're poets who support other poets, and that's why we exist, is to give love to our poetry community. And I'm just really proud that we're in partnership with a lot of different organizations to make things happen. And I'm gonna plug my show. Every Friday, it's The Poets Reacts. It's Mark Fishbein, myself, Lauren Bulutau, and Marissa Prava. And we have a great time getting a mystery poem that we take apart. And, it's not like we are critics, okay? We are just a bunch of poets geeking out over somebody else's poem. And hopefully it's a chance to show the public how poetry is so exciting, and that we can, how do we approach poetry as poets? So, that's a show that I absolutely love doing. But we also have the Poets Lighthouse, led by our fabulous Finn Bell. She's our host there. We also have the Poetry Times that, it's a news show that tells you upcoming festivals, workshops, open mics, and just some news. Sometimes we're just saying if a poet has passed on, we give homage to those poets. And then we also have a new show coming up where Poet Khan is going to be leading us in some kind. It's an open mic setting where it's more for healing, because we recognize that poets struggle with mental health challenges, and we need spaces to nurture one another. And so I'm really excited. I mean, the reason why we do these things is not to just self-promote, but to really think about, hey, what do we need as a community to be sustainable? And so that's why I'm really proud to be a part of PGN. So subscribe to us. We're on IG, Instagram, YouTube. Please support us, because support means not necessarily giving us money, although we love money, but just a like, just the consideration of a like, ping us, and just show us some love, because, these are some really sweet people who really care about the community. So thank you.
Awesome.
Mama Score.
Thank you.
Mama Score.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I just want to tell you that tomorrow is my second installment of my bi-monthly new open mic called Café Generalissimo. It's from 5:30 to 7:45 every other Monday, right before the New Eurekan Cafe, which usually starts at 8. And then on the 29th, I will be in Why Open Pandora's Box, which is an open mic out of New York, along with Finn Bell and Miss Heather Archibald, who are two wonderful poets as well. So I just wanted to put that, and that's all right now in the chat. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And everybody, welcome back. Y'all ready to hear some more amazing poetry from our feature? Get loud, because if I don't hear y'all, I'm gonna talk about my cat.
Yes, you guys are awesome. Bring it in.
Lay it on us.
So, folks, let's give it up again for Generalissimo Bryan Franco.
Woo! All right, Brian. Hey, Brian. All right.
Gracias, everyone. Shalom. I would just like to say thank you. This is what community is all about, everyone showing up for everyone else. My first poem is a haiku that was influenced by Mr. Mark Anthony Vigo's piece that he just slammed with. So when I slam the door, I want my actions to speak louder than my words. The next four poems are poems that I slammed with back in the day. The first is called A Letter to a Next Door Neighbor. To Dave, I refuse to use the word dear because I consider you a jackass. To call you a curmudgeon would be a compliment. You never smile. When you speak, you groan your words. You complain for the sake of complaining. I wish I could say I have never pretended to not hear the officiously inappropriate questions you lob at me from your back porch, but I have pretended and I cannot say. Please explain why your wife Margaret can't have a simple neighborly conversation with anyone without your forced input. Frequent daily remarks like, don't listen to what she says, she ain't no expert on that, and she don't know what she's talking about, never seem to register in your tiny brain as emotional abuse. I asked her for gardening advice once, and after she didn't get halfway through the front door, when she turned around and said, David says it's a bad idea. Well, David, I have seen Miss Maggie smile as she inserts arthritic fingers into fertile soil to reap sustenance for honeybees and hummingbirds. The only thing I've seen you do with dirt is bury your head in your backyard while belittling and criticizing your wife. I hate to think what kind of shit spills from your asshole of a mouth when the door closes and no one is around. Those supposedly inconsequential words you so often say to your wife of over 60 years of wedded bliss are considered abuse in a divorce court. You are a well-honed, German-made, surgical-grade stainless steel fillet knife, stripping away little pieces of her soul every time you put her in her place. When you use your words to stick ice picks into her self-esteem, punch her in the stomach, or pinch her so hard, her psyche is bruised and scarred. She just bows her head, touches chin to chest, rolls up like a pill bug, and shrinks to the size of a glass figurine. The type stores keep next to signs that read, you break it, you buy it. But every time David breaks Margaret, Margaret pays the proprietor. To your credit, though, I do believe you realize your words have broken your wife of the habit of smiling and prevented her from crying manifest tears so visible beneath her crepe paper skin, it's as if someone shined a flashlight into a fishbowl of diamonds. And I do believe you realize the existence of the crimes of your non-existent heart. And that, sir, is why you never smile. Sincerely, a next door neighbor. Next three, there used to be a thing called a 1, 2, 3 slam where you did a 1 minute, 2 minute, and 3 minute pieces for slams. And these are three pieces I used to do together. So the first is called The Coverman Cometh. I am a champion cyclist, not bicycles, emotions. I do it all. Ups, downs, inside outs, round and rounds, hills, valleys, twists, turns, loop-de-loops, and half pipes. I actually bore a hole through a solid granite mountain to create a shortcut. I used only once. Yes, I am a champion cyclist. My face has been on the cover of Psychology Today thrice, for the 3 times I have won the Tour de France by simply riding out anxieties. And this is called Survival of the Thinkiest. I come from a place where selfishness is synonymous with survival. It is not uncommon for me to traverse knee-deep snow when getting out of bed on sweltering summer days. And despite that I am numb knee to ankle, the soles of my feet burn from scorching summer sand. There are people who claim to feel no pain when walking barefoot over hot coals. Welcome to the world of mind over matter, where people feel no pain, but their feet are bloodied and blistered. I come from a place where selfishness is synonymous with survival, where success cannot happen without sacrifice. I come from a place called Earth, a giant ball of dirt, stone, water, and gases littered with plants and animals. Amongst the animals is a creature called human. Unlike the rest who simply survive, humans think, humans reason, humans justify. There are over 7 billion humans scurrying about, trying to find their place on this place called Earth. If one of these thinking, reasoning, justifying creatures truly found its place, it could stay put. But we all have to move to get out of bed. This piece is called Admitted Arsonist Awarded American Association of Accelerants Accolade. I set my house on fire. I wasn't playing with matches. I didn't leave the stove on. I set my house on fire. The blaze was so high and bright it was seen in Mobile, Alabama as a whirling, twirling, swirling aurora borealis. I set the entire sky on fire all the way from Maine to Mobile, Alabama. My house was home, and home is heart. Home is identity. Home is community. My house was not only my house, it belonged to anyone rejected by Inspector Number 5 at the Jigsaw Puzzle Factory and labeled irregular. They got thrown into a box where they met other irregulars and built a better jigsaw puzzle that did not need to be solved, but offered solutions for anyone willing to jump in the box. When a house is lit afire, inspectors look for accelerants. Gasoline and kerosene ain't got nothing on depression, anxiety, and paranoia-fueled awareness. Always be aware. Never let your guard down. Build a wall around yourself. Build an impenetrable vault with a combination lock with no combination, made of 8-inch thick metal smelted from baby Kal-El's alien spaceship. A nuclear bomb can't blast through that stuff. When a house is lit afire, sometimes fire trucks arrive in time. Sometimes God sends in a rainstorm. Sometimes everything burns except frame and foundation. Arsonists turn to architects. Materials needed are a whole lot of I'm sorry's, patience, and liquid kryptonite to pour on the vault's lock to dissolve it into humility and sincerity, a lethal combination that will bankrupt the Acme Vault Company. Inside the vault, atop a cold stainless steel table acquired by dumpster jumping the morgue of your self-esteem, will be an instruction sheet that reads, all new Acme vaults have a fatal combination, right 3, left 2, right 1. Next to the instruction sheet will be a human soul made of matchsticks that won Mrs. Cherniak's 8th grade science fair at St. Paul's Episcopal School in Mobile, Alabama. There will be a sign that says, do not touch. When you touch it, it will turn to ashes. Next to the decimated soul will be a magic wand with a card that reads, place tip of wand in pile of ashes. You decide to follow instructions like a normal person for once in your life. The ashes levitate, the table and vault disappear, the ashes become a house with an infinite number of rooms constructed of the finest poetry written by every irregular puzzle piece on earth. This house is home. Home is community. Home is identity. Home is heart. This next piece I wrote in a Zoom workshop that I did between July of last year through February of this year. And the facilitator passed away and she had become my friend. We had talked on the phone quite a bit. She really made herself available to all of her students. It's called The Most Honorable Warrior's Death. So many poetry people I know have said poetry has saved their lives. The same story is told in a million different voices around the world. Poets are warriors. Poets are fighters. Poets are Olympic pugilists. Our enemies, our nemesis, our sparring partners are simultaneously our mirrors and our past. Our present tense existences are fleeting moments in which we contemplate lives, decisions, relationships, families. Our words run through veins to hearts and through nerves to brains. We spit them out as poetry, exposing them to the elements, singing them to a glorious death, memorialized on page to be read both out loud and in silence, not only by us, but also others who have experienced pieces of our lives and their separate lives. Their epitaphs are our epitaphs. Our poetry is a graveyard that transforms death into life. 2 titled haikus. 1, proof angels exist on earth. I know poetry has saved my life more than once, and it will again. 2, a genetic blood disease with no cure. We are family whose blood coursing through our veins creates poetry. This is called When Mirrors Show Us More Than We Bargained For. Just as blood flows transient through my veins with permanence, Words invade my mind as thought stream, instructing my sleeping dreams and waking decisions, birthing cells of syntax and grammar, forming stanzas of poetry. This is my direction of my soul, a part of my being I have no say over, one which makes decisions without my counsel because it knows me better than I know myself. It is the mirror image I can only see if I look myself in mine eyes. While my blood seems more tangible and physical, my soul is responsible for frivolous things like emotions, creativity, and poetry. 2 haikus. 1, I set a haiku on fire by biting my tongue and burnt my mouth down. 2, a haiku chased me around in circles for hours till I caught my tail. This poem is called Raindrops Keep Falling on My Poem. When I woke this morning, it was raining. As I brushed my teeth, I heard the rain pound against the eave outside my bathroom window. I knew these raindrops were large raindrops, the type of raindrops when they plop on your windshield, refuse to roll down the glass, decide to expand and make the windshield wipers work for their wages. Raindrops that remind you of tiny pouches of sweet juice in a satsuma tangerine that pop in my mouth like fresh cranberries pop in a pot of oolong tea and orange juice tinged with maple syrup, allspice, and cardamom, bubbling into a cranberry sauce to top off my mother's famous Thanksgiving oyster stuffing. Raindrops that cause migraines when I decide to get the mail instead of waiting out the storm. A storm with winds that will fell a 30-foot crabapple tree, still slightly attached to the trunk by a sliver of wood, like when I try to snap the bottom off an asparagus without a knife and the bottom piece is hanging on, flipping me off, screaming, "Fuck you, I'm edible." This storm is a poet who hoards words and old poems he refuses to abandon. He writes a poem, and after 2 stanzas, he writes a new stanza that doesn't quite fit in. But he knows the square-pegged 3rd stanza will transform into its own masterpiece poem. He abandons his potential pièce de résistance for a week or a month till the remainder sneaks out from his brain like snot from a high-pitched allergy sneeze onto a red silk tie. This poet revels in writing lush language Yelp reviews, whether about white tablecloth coquille Saint-Jacques or shack by the sea fried full-belly clams. He paints pictures of food with the delicate brushstrokes of a French impressionist painting found in a childless widow's home by her niece and sold at auction for $32.6 million. The poet will want to call in for a mental health day because the rain makes him want to go back to bed, but instead changes his tie, finishes his poem, and wonders why non-poet people say poets are overly sensitive. A titled haiku, why expiration dates are necessity. Certain expired words can only be used in poems and crossword puzzles. This is called Ribbons in the Quicksand. There once was a poet who was separated from a jungle tour group. He wandered through the canopy underbrush for hours. He stopped to sit atop a felled tree the length of a bus. He thought this image would be a memorable line in a poem. He rose from his stoop, lifted his right leg to step on solid ground, and found his feet in quicksand. As a poet, he knew the true meaning of the word futility. He understood if he flailed his arms or tried to wriggle his legs free, he would sink quicker. His still body slowly sunk. When he was completely submerged, he opened his eyes to discover that he had sunk into a legendary mythological pool of words. He could breathe underwater and move freely in this verbal Atlantis. He started swimming a simple breaststroke. He noticed words forming phrases as he pushed them out of the way and pulled them back in. He saw the words "no limitation" float before his eyes. He started swinging the butterfly way completely underwater. At that moment, he was joined on his quest by a kaleidoscope of orange and black monarch butterflies, singing Ribbons in the Sky by Stevie Wonder. The song he always secretly hoped would be his first dance at a wedding he had accepted might never happen. At the end of the song, the monarch swirled around and around and shrank into a tube that fell on the ocean floor. It was retrieved by a shiny silver octopus who handed the poet an antique kaleidoscope and said, "Take a quick look-see. This one is different from the free cardboard kaleidoscopes your dentist handed out when he was a kid." When the poet wrapped his hand around it, it felt as if it had been custom made for him. He raised it to his right eye and experienced a poetic synesthesia of words as colors, sounds, aromas, tastes, and textures. The kaleidoscope disintegrated and words swimming around his being flowed and rhymed and made sense and made no sense at all. He began to scream and cry and laugh and feel every emotion possible in one single moment. Tour leader placed a bar of smelling salts under the passed out tourist's nose. It seemed the man got lost and hit his head on a felled tree the length of a bus. The tourist, who happened to be a poet, thought this image might make for a memorable line in a poem. Titled Haiku. The reason cats and dogs eat their vomit. Poetry is like brain puke that's too tasty for the brain to savor. Trigger warning, this one has lots of profanity, including F words. Snake handling 101. My body is no longer made of blood, skin, and bones. It is composed of words, an awkward array of grammatical errors and run-on sentences coiled around my identity like a Burmese python, squeezing out every ounce of life, readying me to be eaten whole. Fingers and toes are clever little rhymes. Arms and legs are profound metaphors of life-changing events. My synapses are made of like and as. My nervous system is a smorgasbord of scrambled similes. When I get cut, I bleed axioms and idioms. When I eat greasy food, I fart adages and quotable quotes. Every hair on my body is made of ED and ING, participles hanging and dangling from precipices of impropriety, waiting to fall into chasms of criticism. My ears are periods and question marks that hear too much for their own good. My left eye says hello and my right eye says goodbye, so no one can tell whether I'm coming or going. My nose sneezes snot that screams, shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, because the late, great George Carlin taught me, a little dirty don't hurt nobody. My lips never know when to stay shut, while my teeth are exclamation points trying to make the world a better place. I am a poet. I don't have to follow rules. I invent words. I don't always capitalize beginnings of sentences. Sometimes I don't capitalize at all. Sometimes I don't punctuate. My sophomore English teacher, Marie Gonzalez, would have a field day with her little red pen. She was a less than mediocre teacher who only excelled at emotionally abusing students. There was no way she was a poet. Zen did not exist in her disposition. And unlike her, I enjoyed the field day that is the English language with its endless mazes and optical illusions with no solutions. Mrs. G can go fuck herself, and her army of Burmese pythons I will defang and devenom each one with one silly pun and turn them into lapdogs. Two titled haikus. Self-portrait. I painted myself with words and ink on paper to make poetry. The 11th commandment. Thou shalt not forsake individuality for thy poetry. This next piece is my final one. It's called On Being a Poet, Being a Weirdo. If you are a poet, it is quite likely at some point in your life, someone called you weird. Someone might have called you weird in an unmistakably mean manner. Maybe someone might have taken you inside and told you to tone down the weird. At some point in your life, someone might have smiled at you and said, you know, you're weird, but a good weird. Weird is a word with multiple textures. It can be slippery like a wet frog. If you try to hold it, it'll jump from your hands. It can be sticky like fresh from the hive honey. When you touch it, it'll act like industrial adhesive. Put the letter O at the end of weird, a label gets created. Put the letter O at the end of weird, a person gets defined. Anyone labeled weirdo gets labeled different or other. Sometimes weirdos are outcasts. Sometimes weirdos get defined as eccentric. Sometimes weirdos get called extremely talented. When you find yourself thinking up words that incessantly rhyme for no discernible reason or tell a story as if it were a dream and make other people laugh or cry or scream, these words might force you to write them on a page in a very aesthetic way, then stand on a stage and read them aloud to strangers as if there is purpose to these words. What a weird notion that is, to be a poet, to write words that seemingly don't make any sense at all and make total sense at the same time. Gracias, everybody. Thank you very much, Scorpiana, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah. Generalissimo.
Give it up for our feature.
Fantastic. Woo!
Nice job, Generalissimo.
Gracias, Ms. Quinones.
Nada.
Okay. Y'all ready for round 2 of the poetry slam?
Let's get
yeah.
Woo!
Like I have to get loud for everybody. So if you want to know who's going into round 2, we have in this order Mark Anthony Vigo, Frog Corpse, Nico Kim, Daryl Perry, The Prodigy Truth, and Lita. We had a tie for 5th, so we are taking 6 poets into round 2. So that is going to be the order. But before we get started, let's give a round of applause and say goodbye to our wonderful competitors that are not going on to round 2. Folks, give it up for Roz. Give her a big round of applause. Roz, do you have any upcoming events or anything you want to share with anyone?
I do actually. I'm working on something with the New Yorican Poets Cafe. It's going to take place on September 7th at 7. And it involves our usual open mic hosts, Advocate of Words and La Bruja. Once I have the flyers together, I will circulate that on my Instagram page. It's Through Her Big Brown Eyes. I'll also put that in the chat. But that's about it for now.
Cool. Thank you.
Actually, and along with Generalissimo, I am part of the winter poets release with Red or Green Books by Marissa Prada. Generalissimo and I are among those authors that will be publishing their books for the winter release. So stay tuned for that as well.
Thank you. And tell Words I said hi. Me and Advocate of Words go way back.
Will do. Love him.
Yeah.
He's great.
Thank you. And let's also give a big round of applause coming to us tonight all the way from Malaysia. Give it up for Safwan.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you so much for coming, like dialing in all the way from Malaysia. Come back and see us again. And do you have any events or anything you want to announce?
Nothing much. I just want to say thanks for giving me a chance to join this, and maybe I will join again next time. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also give a big round of applause for being awesome in round 1 to Christopher T. George.
Thank you.
Christopher, do you have any events or anything you want to share?
Yeah, I have a couple of talks coming up for the Newark, Delaware Senior Center on the American Revolution and also the death of Edgar Allan Poe that people might be interested in. I'll put the information in the chat.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, so we are going on to round 2 now. Just want to check in and make sure all 5 of our judges are still with us. Manny, you're still here. Mr. Xlent. Jenny, you still here? Yep. Okay, and Lacan, you're still here. And Edward, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, so we got all 5 judges. So on deck, we've got Frog Corpse, but coming to the stage, give it up for Mark Anthony Vigo. Yay!
Okay.
All right. Heartstrings. My desire for you is a song whose notes have been transcribed with my tongue over every inch of your body. Fingers gently caressing your keys, all the right notes being hit perfectly. This symphony of ours expanding as we make our way to the ever-increasing rapture of that final crescendo. Starting off slow at first, sustaining our cadence with movements both fluid and melodic. But soon, that all starts to change. The moment the tempo begins to surge, gradually gaining momentum, but oh, so slowly. As our intricately entwined harmonies begin forming complex syncopated patterns of a purely passionate nature, I move my hand with care down to and across your keyboard, gently tickling your ivories, taking you deeper and deeper into my low-end theory. My hands placed carefully, caressing you like the fine instrument you are, filling you with majestic bass tones that resonate throughout your entirety. No matter where I place my fingers upon the keys, the vibrations of each note being struck are felt deeply between the curving folds of your treble clef. In the ecstasy, beautiful moaning melodies emanate from a place deep down inside you. And like sheets of music, I will have you spread widely about my piano, turning your pages over and spreading them some more, searching for that hidden climactic note, my face pressed firmly into your rhythm. And like Jimi Hendrix, I'd work your strings deeply with my tongue in such a manner that you would just swear I was trying to lick your heart. Thank you.
All right.
Give it up for Mark Anthony Vigo.
All right.
Judges.
Yeah, good stuff.
Woo!
Judges. Y'all just came back from that nice long break. Nice and quick for me. We got 4 scores, just waiting on one more. We got 5 scores. We got a low of an 8.6, a 8.6, a 8.7, an 8.8, and an 8.8. And y'all could see somehow the background issue fixed itself, so you can see my messy ass dining room now. And we've got for round 2 a total score of 26.1. Give it up for the poet, not the store. On deck, we've got Nico Kim, but coming to the stage, give it up for Frog Corpse. What?
Hello. Oh, love of loves, that is more than love, now deceased under winter's shrub. This August 8th, I've lost my mind, and in this night, the gloom I find, and under light, and on this swing, I ebb and flow. My memories bring from the lines of lines that devils see, that devil's night, that devil's dream. And I read through the roaring swan, where I killed the call, and the darkness comes through pumpkins chosen in the lanes of God. Now they're broken in the heats of dawn, and Eden comes with the eater mind. In yon eye, burn this time on the Sumerian lines of the way I find Ikula, et Sutenbag, and Nastarat, and Nasukain, Vosta Eche, Vosterain. And now I talk in these ancient tongues from the 7 planets that my verses sung, and now these tomes and noses spit. My freestyle comes, my cipher sticks, and with these rotes, I named it quick from my master of
Poe that writ the rights of rights that soul I get, like in round one I talked when I'm tonguing this, and so to sleep I see the wanderer in the sea of leaves of trees and growth, and now my thieves coming back, my demons bring, I ride and further rest where the coffin nail chisels breast with my name, an epitaph, I end it all with my final laugh. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Give it up for Frog Corps. Judges. Show me pretty squiggles that add up together. We got 4 squiggly number type things. We got 5. We have got a low of a 8.7, an 8.7, an 8.8, a 9, and a 9.4. So we're going to smash all that together and see what we get. We've got, for round 2, a total score of 26.5. Clap for the poet, not the score. And remember, while we're only announcing round 2 scores right now, our winners are going to be determined by cumulative scores. So on deck, we've got Daryl Perry, but coming to the stage, give it up for Nico Kim. Woo!
Being a writer sucks. It's like being in a forced relationship with a succubus who snuck its kiss, because I'm now stuck with this talent that drains my soul. The only reason I began to write is because words explode out of me. It's not like I'm proud to be someone who knows how to put them together poetically. I mean, shit, words are a curse and they only offer a slight fixation. It could be said that I write for self-asphyxiation, go blue to the face from suffocation just for the purpose of rhyme, assonance, and alliteration. But what's worse is that I was born to be a writer, born to learn and be consumed by the written language and those who've mastered it. Born to have a pen in my hand to put to paper endlessly into all hours, whiling wistfully whilst writing. But every time I do, I come to a standstill. You see, there's this standoff between my mind and my intentions, because it's come to my attention that I have nothing of worth to mention. But you could literally cut me open and my literary blood would be black and blue ink begging to be used in a pen to write words. And as I've bled on my pages and read poets throughout the ages, I've come to the realization that I'm nothing compared to the greats. So I asked myself, why do you continue to write? And I answered, though I'm afflicted with this talent that tortures and torments me so, I'm given sweet relief when I relieve myself by just finishing a poem.
Give it up for Nico Kim. Judges. Throw those numbers up there. We got 1 score. We got 2, 3, 4, and 5. We got a low of an 8.8. We got an 8.9. We've got a 9, a 9, and a 9.5. Poets, tonight there are cash prizes. Unfortunately, can't physically hand you cash. So here is how we pay people. I can do PayPal, Venmo, or I can have Poetry Center San Jose mail you a check. So at the end of the evening, we'll talk about how to do that. What do we got for Nico? We've got a total for round 2 of 26.9. Clap for the poet, not the score. On deck, we have the prodigy Truth, but coming to the stage, give it up for Daryl Perry. Woo!
Okay, Another pandemic anthology written in May 2021. Yes, I have to wear a mask to work. And yes, other people are pissed off about it, but that's not the only thing happening right now. And I hope it isn't the main takeaway that comes out of this. Yes, poets, I get that you want to chronicle the loss of skin to skin, the new normal, the remote learning, the Amazon packages, the quarantine, the isolation, the Grubhub, the Zoom life. I get that those things are important for people in the future to understand, but that's not the only thing happening right now. I sincerely hope that when we look back on the difficult times, we also remember the pseudoscience so devoutly believed. I hope we remember the space lasers, the flat earths, the tracking devices and vaccines. I hope we remember the bleach injections and the dangers of 5G, and that it was all just a big hoax, fake news. I hope we remember the realities too, the hospital staff suicides, the freezer trucks filled with corpses, the mass unemployment, the frontline slave wages, the single moms living in their cars, and the paltry stimulus checks that didn't do any of them any good, but padded wealthy pockets and made the secure even more secure. I hope we remember the color lines that the whites didn't see, but the blacks and the browns and the reds felt in their bones as they died in greater numbers than the more privileged members of our species. I hope we remember our favorite small businesses that closed their doors and the billionaires who turned to trillionaires in the process. I hope we remember the artists who turned to charity of Patreon or GoFundMe because they couldn't get gigs or shows. I hope we remember the kids in cages, the Black lives, the armed militias, and the Confederate flags in the Capitol, and the violence in the streets. I get that a lot of this probably has to do with the Wu flu or the Kung flu or the China virus or whatever they called it as they toted their AR-15s through Chinatown. Yes, it's all interconnected, but that's the point, isn't it? It's not just one safe middle-class slice of pandemic life that we need to memorize. Not just one part of the whole chronicled by the ones who made it through okay, because it's not just a pandemic. It's all interconnected, part of a greater pandemic experience than any virus, no matter how extraordinary. And as such, this poem is not just one poem. It's not about just one thing. Maybe it meanders, maybe it babbles or runs off at the mouth a little, or maybe this isn't a poem. Maybe this will be my pandemic anthology.
Give it up for Daryl Perry. Judges. We got, wow, judges, y'all are on the ball tonight. Y'all have been nice and quick. We have a low of a 9. We have a 9.1, a 9.2, a 9.2, and a 9.3. And we are getting close to that end of the evening. We just have 2 more poets left. And what do we got for Daryl? We've got a round 2 total of 27.5. Clap for the poet, not the score. On deck, we have Lita, but coming to the stage, give it up for the Prodigy Truth.
Woo!
Imagine a college student. He is the class clown in Professor Hosso's beginning Spanish class. She asks, "Donde vives?" the first day of class, and he replies, "I have no idea what the hell you just said." She said, "We'll just call it a misunderstanding for now." Imagine a freshman in high school who sits in detention for telling his teacher, "Pythagoras is an asshole, and how is he going to help me with my music?" Eric, because music is his vitamin, his temptation. "Why don't you come back to my paradise?" Because in his paradise, the song plays on repeat, Eric on repeat. Imagine a 6th grader sees his first D on his report card and all he can think is, damn. Imagine a 3rd grader Attention deficit has them wondering how many flies are in the boogers in their teacher's that school breakfast this morning. Sure was funny when she fell last week. And looks down at his knees and stops laughing. He remembers there's nothing funny about being torn. Imagine a third grader who doesn't play at recess today because last time he was pushed and called midnight. You see, in third grade, the closest spelling to the word nigger is midnight, or sorry, it was a misunderstanding. Imagine a sixth grader sees his first D on his report card and all he can think is dad is not going to be happy, and dying would feel a little better. See, dad is dangerous. Dad dances with his hands. Dad discourages disappointment. Imagine a freshman in high school who sits in his own paradise because in reality, this shit just doesn't add up. Understand the Pythagorean theorem is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Abuse plus brokenness equals catastrophe. He gets it right, but he still gets a D squared. Imagine a college student who hides behind dry humor so that maybe people will find him funny instead of awkward. His abusive alcoholic stepdad is dead and he refuses to cry about it. He can't seem to get rid of his stutter, so sometimes he's misunderstood. His OCD has him wondering if he remembered to lock his heart before he left this morning. This black suit he wears has him wondering which one of his brothers will die and he will have to attend their funeral, the next Freddie Gray, but none of that matters because he decided to come to a poetry slam. For some reason, performing in front of an audience full of strangers makes everything feel better, where everyone is wearing black and they're with you every step of the way. You take a look at yourself and you are everything you have imagined, and you're proud of it.
Give it up for Prodigy Truth. Judges. Our judges are doing such a good job tonight. Thank y'all so much. Also, our scorekeeper's doing a great job tonight. Folks, give it up for Kevin Sparks, our scorekeeper and timekeeper. We've got a low of an 8.6. We've got a 9.1, a 9.4, a 9.5, and a 9.6. Yeah, we are almost down to the end. Judges, you're only going to have to do this one more time tonight for a total round 2 score of 28. Clap for the poets, not the score. On deck, we are going to give some folks some prize money, but coming to the stage, give it up for Lita. Woo!
Woo! My love is a sore black wound, a deep well. My love is a mute girl, the violinist's broken hand. My love is an empty house with a musty smell. My love is a sore black wound, dry, hard, a dull wail, a Molotov. My love is a third of the sky, a harmless pain, a hybrid system of morbid words and sour planets. My love is to start and to finish, a hole in the chest, a shot in the head, an empty plate, a ball and chain, a spoon, a garden with no moon, but with a dancing star they call dragon. My love is a lost sock, a dead cookie, a stuck a plane is my love. My love is you in a dusty town, running inside of a dry red river. Is incoherent, my love comes out inside. My love is a chill in the bones. My love, a boba throbbing. My love, crescendo headache. My love.
Give it up for Lita. Judges.
All right. Yeah.
We got one last
Muy bien.
hurrah. We got 2 judges. We got 3. We got all 5 judges now. We got a 8.6, an 8.8, a 9, a 9.3, and a 9.4. Give it up again for the judges. Y'all are so
judges.
awesome. Thank you so much tonight. Again, everybody, like, you cannot have a slam without judges. So without y'all, tonight would have not been possible. So, and what is our final score for Lita for round 2? Also, poets, give it up for yourself. We've got a round 2 score of a 27.1. Clap for the poets, not the score. Okay, so now that's the time of the evening where we talk about who got what place. So everybody that competed tonight, regardless of your scores, y'all are all winners because y'all told your truth tonight. And you will always be a winner when you speak your truth. Because, oh my God, my Google Home device just started talking. Like, she just creeps in at the worst moments. But anyway, in 5th place tonight, you don't get any money, but you got a piece of our hearts with a final score of 51.8. Give it up for Lita. Lita, do you have any upcoming events or, merch or anything you want to plug right now?
I'll write is this one site on the chat, and there you'll find all my social media and the stuff I'm doing here in Mexico. Glad to be here, very honored, and they are really great.
All right.
They're all really great, amazing poets.
Great stuff. Thank you.
And in 4th place, y'all don't get no money either, but you get our love. We have a tie for 4th place. With a combined score of 52, we've got Mark Anthony Vigo and Frog Corpse.
Okay.
Woo! Mark,
right.
do you have any upcoming events or stuff you want to plug or anything you want to say?
Yes, I'm part of a collective we call the Títere Poets. We do have a monthly open mic. It's called La Esquina Open Mic. You can check it out on Facebook. Basically, yeah, we have a podcast too, Pan con Títeres. We announce, so you can catch all of us on there. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Frog Corpse. You got anything you want to plug or anything you want to say?
September 11th here in Louisville, Kentucky this year. I'll be performing at Gonzo Fest with New York Mets poet Frank Messina, also an actor who performed in Boardwalk Empire. I will also be performing alongside my mentor, outlaw poet and U.S. National Beat Poet Laureate Ron Whitehead. And also, I think Kentucky Poet Laureate at one point too, was a professor of English at the University of Louisville, and also mastered some James Joyce courses over in England and Oxford. Hannah Drake will also be there, which is a activist and I guess you would say journalist, yes, from Louisville's Leo Weekly magazine. And Gonzo Fest is the event to honor Ron's actual friend, of course, before this legendary writer died, Hunter S. Thompson. Of course, many of my generation would know him from his work from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but more of his work, really, from what I got into it, was from Kentucky Derby's Decadent and Depraved and Hell's Angels, the first book. So I'm doing that. So thank you for having me out tonight. Thank you.
Okay, so coming in third place and getting $10 with a final score of 52.3. Give it up for Nico Kim.
Woo!
Nico, you got anything you want to say or anything you want to plug?
Nope, I'm nobody. Thank you.
That's not true.
Oh, come on, it's not true.
And don't leave, because after this is over, I gotta get the info on how to pay you the $10.
No, it's okay. Just hold it on to whoever gets the third next time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for letting me participate. No, it's fun. I just come for the fun. Thank you.
You're awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, folks, you're more than welcome if you want to just donate your winnings back to San Jose Poetry Slam, or you can stick around and give me your contact info so I can pay you. In second place, winning $15 with the final score of 52.5. Give it up for Daryl Perry.
All right, Daryl.
Yeah.
Woo.
You got anything you want to say? Anything you
Do
want
it,
to plug?
Daryl.
Oh, good grief, yes. I do.
Right.
So I am the founder and creator of Stick Figure Poetry. That is, you can find that on stickfigurepoetry.com. It is a quarterly magazine. I'm currently working on the October issue right now. So anyone who wants to submit to that, the information is how to submit is the information is on the website, stickfigurepoetry.com. We also have a Facebook group, which is for the quarterly, but mostly for the open mic, which is coming up on Thursday, the Stick Figure Poetry Open Mic. And I also run on the first Monday of every month, I co-host a virtual open mic that will be virtual forever. The Lehigh Valley Poetry virtual salon, which I co-host with my poetry compadre, Lynn Alexander. And yeah, the Stick Figure is going to be virtual up until October, maybe more than October, we're not sure, but I think that, oh, and one more thing, I'm going to do a featured reading for Moonstone Press coming up Wednesday. So I got a lot of things going on, and all of it is going to be in the Facebook group, which I will post into chat right here. So there you go. Thanks.
Yeah. Good stuff, Daryl. Keep doing it.
Awesome. Thank you, Daryl. And in first place tonight with a final score of 52.7, winning $25. Give it up for the Prodigy Truth.
Okay. Yeah.
Say a few words for us.
Congratulations. Woo.
Ooh. All right.
Hello, everyone. It is
okay.
So much fun to be here.
Yeah.
Tonight. I just like I'm pretty much nobody too. I just like to pop into random poetry readings and poetry slam competitions, and sometimes I just like to try my hand. And so very wonderful experience to win tonight. I appreciate all of the love and all of the support that I saw in the chat and everything like that. I'm from Austin, Texas. That's kind of where I'm based. I'm a little bit I'm like 30 minutes or so south of Austin. So yeah, that's where I'm living at. Texas is the shittiest place in the shittiest country. That's kind of where I'm at with everything. It's been terrible, but I don't have anything coming up. If you like my work, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm a weirdo, so I'm going to warn you of that. But yeah, I'm still trying to get everything together. Right now I'm trying to write a book, and it's been very, very tedious because a lot of things keep happening. My grandmother died like a month ago or so. I just started a new job. There's a lot going on, and I'm trying to figure myself out and everything like that. So it was just so warming to be here. I appreciate y'all so much. It was an incredible night of poetry. I love hearing some of you guys' work. It's been amazing. I'm going to keep writing. It's going to be poetry has saved my life, so I'm going to keep going with the the flow with that. But yeah, thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Just keep doing it.
Okay, so Daryl and Prodigy, if you would like your money, message me either how to PayPal you or how to Venmo you or your legal name and address so I can have Poetry Center San Jose mail you a check. I do forewarn you, like our treasurer does take forever mailing checks, so PayPal and Venmo are better. And stick around, don't leave, because sometimes the PayPals and Venmos don't go through, and then I'm like trying to find people the next day, like track them down, and I always feel bad. So like in a minute, just like message me. And folks, we hope to see you back next month, second Sunday in September. San Jose Poetry Slam is going to be part of a bigger Poetry Center. San Jose puts on every year a large poetry festival. And last year it was all on Zoom. It's all going to be on Zoom again. If you go to their Facebook page or pcsj.org, you're going to see all the events that are going to encompass. The festival is going to be like a 9-day thing with things happening every evening. Off the top of my head, I think there's going to be a writing workshop with Rachel McGibbons. Oh my God, like when we were going through the names of like the features and performers for the different events, our feature for next month Poetry Slam is going to be Billy Tuggle from Chicago. So yes, we hope to...
I wish to interrupt for a second. Billy Tuggle is so amazing that everyone has to come see him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I've been trying to get like Billy for years and stuff. So like if you don't know who Billy Tuggle is, you're gonna learn. So thank you all for coming out. Love you all. Holy shit, okay. Wow. And Daryl, send me your, oh, I see it right now.
You can turn your volume right now, Gene. Huh?
Not yet.
Oh, never mind. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Okay, folks, give me like 2 minutes, Prodigy and Daryl. I'm gonna try to get this sent right out, and I want to have you let me know whether it went through. Let's see. Okay.
Okay. I'm putting my easy mark form order here. I already got one in my luggage, and I got one in the car. Okay. You're all done down here?
Okay, Prodigy, I just sent yours, so hopefully this will go through.
Okay, I'm not like that. I listen to share. Just be, other than that, suck. There's the shock. Oh. Let me show you one thing, Gene. So the last thing I'm gonna show you, then you're on your own. Follow me. Turn that off and follow me. I know. Go. Go. Finish it up already? Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh, hey. Yes, awesome. Thank you, Prodigy, for sticking around.